Do, 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 do. Alright, so I know for y'all it's still showing like some moving around and all that. I don't know how everything's going, so I'm gonna use the chat based off of my phone here to see how everything's going. So y'all let me know. Let me know how everything is moving up. If the thing is buttery smooth, let me know. Like I said, if you guys are experiencing lagging, it's not me. It's more so the streaming service. So if anything, we'll just have to go in there and change a couple of things, a couple of settings. Like I said, if you guys are experiencing lagging, it's not me. It's more so the streaming service. So I have to go to output and change that some. I will. So change the output some. Alright, that should help out quite a bit right there. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's go back to the game. Let me know, y'all. Is it way smoother than what it was before, or what? Because if so, we're gonna go ahead and actually get rolling a little bit here. Like I say, y'all don't know anything. Y'all are not really speaking in the chat too much. Like I said, I still can't see the chat even though I'm in game, so just so y'all do know that. Mr. Farley, it's a simulator game. That's a simulator game. Just wanted to do something a little bit different with the channel. Farley, it's a simulator game. Let's see here if we can get some real weight on her. 47,000. Whatever. We'll go ahead and go with that. Guys, let me try to make this stream a little bit smoother here. I see y'all are still having some type of lagging issue, so I'm going to try to correct that real quick. Like I said, this is going to work out more than just doing this little gaming stuff. We can do many other things with this. So I'll lower that by 200 and let's see where it's at right now. Output. Alright, so it's right there where it needs to be at. Alright, that's fine. Go over here. It's supposed to move. This game's pretty relaxing, you know, when you do something on a long day or something. Going through this a little bit quicker than what I normally would. once I pick up this load here. And we'll go back to the old thing of showing car parts and stuff like that. That's what I'm basically on here to show. It was never the plan to get on here and play a game, but you know, it happens. Alright, y'all, so this is where I'm gonna end at least this part of everything I was doing. So alrighty, got that out of there. I want to bring this back in here. Just gonna bring certain bits and pieces back in here. I'm gonna try to fit this into frame here. Try and get this into the frame if I can, like that. Alright. Let's move that completely out of there. No, go ahead and go over to this one, and we're going to talk about different setups as far as, you know, LS engine goes. I'm going to give y'all a couple of budget setups, you know, best bang for buck type setups. So to grab some more of y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and change this title real quick. I don't know what the heck is going on my keyboard here. Yeah, not seeing what's going on my keyboard. Alright, so we're gonna do that. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna keep it like that for a minute. Alright, so. I know it's not that many of y'all even in here, if it even is any of y'all in here, but we're gonna go over a couple of different setups that I would personally do. And I know some of y'all, you know, y'all are just now getting into the LS game or whatever, so I kind of just want to give, you know, some of y'all a basic rundown of what I would run, what I think you should run, and, you know, all that stuff. So I'm gonna basically drag this out of my frame real quick, and I'm gonna look up some other things real fast, and I'll drag it back into the frame later. So that's basically what I'm about to do. So, if we're talking along the lines of what I personally run, we're talking LS1s, LS2s, LS6s. You know, you have the 6 liter, you have the 5.3, you have the 5.7, the 6.2, the 7.0. There's numerous different engines that are out there right now on the industry, pretty much. And with that being said, there's a lot of competitors out there as far as you picking your engine and what engine you want to use, and, you know, yada yada yada. So what I pretty much tell people whenever they're looking for a motor, or whenever they're trying to do a personal build for themselves, always look at your costs. Always look at the best cost-effective way. LS engines, they're very, very finicky. They can be finicky. You know, they can be one of the engines that they'll make 1,000 horsepower here and make 1,000 horsepower there. So I'm going to give y'all basically a combo that'll bring any kind of car that you want to take into the 10-second range and still be able to drive it every day on the street. Now, I'm going to go to one of my, let's see, I think we're going to just do like a $4,000, $5,000 budget, something like that. Something that anybody can put together, you know, with a Fox body Mustang or anything like that. So, let's bring this back into the frame here. Again, you gotta make it smaller because it's not gonna fit for whatever reason. Don't know why, don't ask me. Let's see here. Try to get all this in here if I can. Back from the corners and slide on in there. Just like that. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. Alright. Now, with you building a budget car, you probably have, you know, budget in mind the whole entire time. So something I'd probably do is probably focus on getting a nice little platform, and, you know, whether you're building a box Chevy or a G body or whatever, you're probably looking for a really, really solid platform. So if you're talking, you're trying to build like an $8,000 car, half of that is going to go into the motor, the other half of that is probably going to go into the car. So already assuming that you can find an LS53 and a 408E for cheap, and a 60 or 53 and an 80E for pretty cheap. We're going to go ahead and go over this first combination and what this combination is. It's basically a 6 liter. Now I know anybody can find a 6 liter. You know, 6 liters can be had for 700 bucks nowadays. So providing that you can find one of those, we're gonna go with the bare bones setup. And start all off, we're just gonna go LS9 cam here. So that's what we're gonna go with. Well, not LS9 cam, but LS9 head gaskets, because you know those are probably some of the best head gaskets you can possibly get. Okay. See, it's two of y'all in here, alright? So listen, because I'm about to give y'all some real stuff. Let's see here. Need two of them because you have two heads, so that's already up there. It's $133 out of it already. And while you're already on the subject of the top end of the motor, I recommend going ahead and getting some head bolts. You know, because you're gonna need them. So head bolts, really and truly, ARP is probably the only way to go. And providing that you can that you're getting a 2004 and later block, so providing that. So the next few things are going to be cam and all that. So what we're gonna go is we're gonna go LS cams, and we're gonna look for the sloppy stage 2 cam, because that's a very had cam, and it does really good under supercharged or turbocharged applications here. So we're going for the high LSA. We want a really high LSA cam with a lot of lift and a lot of duration. So this is the best cam right here. There we go. And then right after that, pretty much all you need is some valve springs, and you're in there like somewhere. So valve springs here. Valve springs, they can be had for cheap also. This right here would do you just fine. They already come with titanium retainers and all that good stuff, so you'd be getting a spring titanium retainer package for the D-load basically, and they have a max lift of 650, so you'd never ever run out of, you know, spring. You'd pretty much just be on the verge of, you know, can I get a big enough cam to go in there. And as far as push rods, you just want to go with LS chromoly push rods. Those can be had for cheap also. Like I said, I'm building this thing basically just off of jegs, so you know anybody can put this together. That's just what I really want to show. Anybody can put together a $7,000 car that should be a 10-second worthy car. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and let's see here. We want the chromoly push rods. I'm gonna do a trunnion upgrade also. Kind of just have some safe, or let's see here. Those are not it. Kind of have some self-assurance here. So push rods. I'm not seeing the ones that I really want. See, I see guide plates. You know, guide plates wouldn't be too bad, but I really like something else there. 5/16. These would work, but I'd always recommend a thicker wall push rod, and if you could, I'd recommend getting like a 1/2-inch push rod or something along those lines. Those push rods do not break whatsoever. Alright, so just to review our cart and see everything that we have in here, we have push rods, valve springs, we already have a cam, we have head bolts, we have head gaskets, so we pretty much have a whole top end essentially. And as far as bottom end, you're probably going to reuse your stock rings, all that good stuff. You're probably going to reuse all that stuff, so there's no reason to even have to go buy anything else at this point. So $875, and you pretty much have a motor that's pretty much boost ready at this point. So on to the next thing, and that is turbo and all that other stuff. So for a basic little turbo setup, I'd probably go 75, 78 with the cast wheel, but just to do it on here, we're gonna see what they have as far as turbos go, and I'll show y'all the manifold setup. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and and get set up here. So I want to see what kind of turbos they actually have on here. So we're gonna go this route, and like I said, you can always up the boost on it. And like I said, this setup is universal to a 6-liter, 5.3, whatever you have. This is universal to that. So don't feel obligated to just use one. Use this on let's see here, what do you have? Use this on one car. So Turbonautics 600 horsepower turbo, Borg Warner. They're really good turbo. They're diesel turbo, so they can take a lot more than what say a gas driven turbo would. Let's see, 55 millimeter turbo, that just be a full monster. So we're gonna go with something that's like a 75 millimeter turbo, 75, 78, something like that. We don't want to go to T6 because not everybody can afford to get a T6 flanged turbo, so I don't want to really go that route. And these right here are the more expensive routes. Now, if you're somebody that's just trying to get into all this, I personally go to eBay and search up a GT45 turbo or a GT40 turbo, depending on what your budget can fit in. A GT45 turbo will serve you just fine, and still while being able to get brand new manifolds, crossover piping, and elbows and everything else you basically need for the whole entire setup. So these turbos are known to be able to take 600 horsepower easily, but we don't want to go the super cheap turbo. So we're just gonna try to find something that's more along the budget here, and this right here will work just fine. Either one of these, I'd probably go with this route because, like I said, it does already have the oiling system on this one. Even though you're probably gonna end up changing that, but it already comes with a V-band and all the other stuff, so you're pretty much set up as far as that goes. Yeah, it already comes with it, so you're set up on that end. Comes with exhaust and exducer, let's see, inducer, exducer, drain. Okay, so this probably be your best route. $683, and you have a turbo that already comes with a drain. Well, not a drain, but an oil feed. You just gotta do oil drain for it. So at that point, you pretty much have that. So let's see here. What are we at here? We're at 875. So we're just gonna go ahead and grab a calculator here and add all that up. 87. I'm just gonna put 876 plus 684. I just like to round it off. 684. Go ahead and round it off. So $1,500, and we already have a turbo and a nice motor, a nice bottom end to start off with. Now, as far as turbo, we're gonna go turbo headers or turbo manifolds. My bad. And then we still have to get wastegates and other things like that. So I just want to go ahead and find turbo manifolds or LS turbo manifolds. I think they're Hooker manifolds, I believe they are. Hooker, let's see, turbo exhaust manifold, that's what we want. Let's see here, and I think you also have to weld your own wastegate for these to work actually. So assuming that you're gonna either end up using a 480E or 4060E, because more than likely that's what you're probably gonna go get out of the junkyard. That's 184. Like I said, this is dirty cheap horsepower. I mean, this is 500 horsepower all day long, guys, all day long. Inch and 5/8, so they don't come anything bigger than inch and 5/8. So for the complete ones, it's 414. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that into the cart. And then as far as wastegates, a tile wastegate will serve you just fine. You can go with precision, turbo, all that. I spelled that totally wrong. Let's see if Summit has their own wastegate brand. Yeah, Summit actually does have their own wastegate brand, looks like. Let's see what Summit actually has to offer as far as wastegates go. Okay, and these aren't even Summit wastegates. These are for T6. probably a lot of, yeah, that's way overkill. So we're just gonna go 40 millimeter race gate, I believe. 40 should be good. 40 should be more than enough actually. So we're just gonna see here. I see Tile actually has theirs, so we'll either go these guys or Tile, whichever one will serve the best purpose. Let's see. We want everything to be V-band, I believe. So as far as wastegates, this is where we're gonna go. And if you really want to get fancy with it, you can put a Tile 38 mil. If you want to get really fancy with it, you can put a boost controller on it. So 6 to 7 psi. Medium pressure spring is 8 to 10 psi. Comes with V-band clamps and all that on it. I haven't really heard too much about these. I've heard a little bit about them, not too much. So we're gonna go ahead and add those to the cart. And we're gonna try to find a budget boost controller. Manual boost controller, Turbo Smart. Let's see what Turbo Smart has and see how much these actually cost here. Just motor alone, I guarantee I can build a motor for like $4 or less. That'll make, you know, 600-700 horsepower all day long. So E-Turbo. Let's see here. These would be the nicer one to have because you can just crank it up with a dial. So we're just gonna go boost controller. We're gonna try to find some more boost controllers here. Vibrant manual boost controller. Actually, express boost reference. We don't really want to add any nitrous to this equation because, you know, 90% of normal people are not going to be looking for something like that. So we're just going to go with a manual basic setup, something that's simple for everyone to use. So yeah, let's go with throttle sensitive. Turbo Smart, that'd probably be the best one though, is to go to Turbo Smart one. I'm thinking, let's see here. Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna have to go to Turbo Smart one. That makes more sense. Anyways, for right now it does. Just a ball and spring deal, so cheap, cost effective. That's what we're looking for. Something that's cheap and cost effective. Alright, so just on this setup alone, we literally have boost controller, wastegate, manifolds, crossover, push rods, valve springs, cam, head bolts, head gaskets, and we have a turbo. And just to re-add everything all up, actually I don't know why I keep doing that, just to re-add everything all up on here, C1871, just want to round that off like I said because I like rounding it, and 684 just to round it off. 684, and we're literally at 25.5. So if you want to round that off, 25.60 for, you know, just turbo, basically turbo alone. You know, that's a solid setup. You know, you're getting pretty much everything that you paid for. This thing right here literally comes with, let me show you guys. This thing literally comes with the V-bands, all the bolts. I believe it comes with the gaskets also that you need, and that's what it looks like on the back, running across the back end of the motor. Like I said, I'm literally giving you guys a free horsepower setup. So that would work just fine. As far as will it work on your traditional F bodies or whatever, I'm not too sure, but you know, you never know. So you're gonna need a T4 turbo flange. Was it flange or was it elbow? I think it's the elbow. I believe it's the elbow. It's a 90-degree elbow. T4. Turbo, elbow, that's what it's called. Yep, that's exactly what it's called, elbow. Alright, so 3.5, 3.5, and then you can mount the wastegate right onto the end of this, if that's what you're looking for. So this would be a really nice deal for someone that's looking for something like that, 3-inch, with a elbow RD on it. Let's see here, 125 bucks. You know, this is not a bad deal for what it is. Yeah, it comes with the end that goes onto the manifold. Alright, everything looks nice. Looks to be a pretty decent weld on there. Not the best, but it looks pretty decent. Looks like it'll actually work. So that's what we're gonna go with. 125 bucks. So let's add another $125 to that cost. It's 125 on the dot. Alrighty. And I think that'd be it as far as motor goes. And you literally have a 600 horsepower motor all day long. Like I said, as long as you pull the motor apart, make sure you got all 8 piston rings, end gaps. Make sure you open all those things up. Like, just file them tacky. And as far as, you know, feeding the turbo, I'm literally just gonna give you a simple little setup. Go on eBay, type in LS turbo oil feed. Like I said, I've done this setup a few different times, but go on this, and then Dirty Dingo, they have one for 70 bucks. This is probably your best bang for buck. 70 bucks, you can't beat it. Literally, that's all you got of 70 bucks. So that's, you know, that's cheap just to supply oil to your turbo. So I'd recommend going that route. 70 bucks, and then we'll do the return. So it's people on here that actually makes an oil return. Now if you're on an extreme budget, what you can do is just get you some 10 AN line, get some AN fittings, screw it onto the turbo, and run it back down to the oil pan. The oil pan has a leveling sensor on it. Pull the leveling sensor out, put a 10 AN bung onto it, weld it all up. JB welded some if you're not too happy with your welds, or if you don't think they will hold. JB weld it all up, screw it on there, make sure you put some thread silicone on there, screw it all up, tighten it all down. You literally just have your oil return. But for me, and this is how I would personally do it, because I would not want to do it that way. I don't really feel too confident on that. They actually make a return front cover that is like $100 that you should get. I mean, let's see, Jegs even has it on here like for $89.99. It's plus 99 for shipping. But if you wanted to, you can go on Jegs. Let's see here, LS oil return. It should pop up here. See, twin turbo, single turbo, whatever you're looking for. Let's see, Gen 4, Gen 3 is what we want, because we're trying to build this off of a Gen 3 motor. $89.99. So basically 90 bucks we're gonna add to the price. So we're gonna add 90 to that. So I'm trying to think what else you would possibly want to do. You can reuse all the factory gaskets besides the head gaskets. You can reuse the factory oil pan gasket. You don't necessarily have to buy a brand new one of those. There's a lot of other things. There's a lot of things that you can reuse on this motor. You don't necessarily have to buy brand new things on it. But you know, it's kind of just whatever you want. And something else you're gonna need is a 10 AN block off. 10 AN cap, I believe they would call it. They should call it that anyways. Yes they do. So 10 AN cap. $6.53, so basically $7 essentially for that. So $7. and then we're gonna go right on back over to eBay, and we're gonna buy the oil return, and that's essentially everything you need for the motor, essentially. And this could be a daily, this can be a hot rod motor, this can be whatever you want. Like I said, this can literally be a motor that goes to the track, runs tens, and still drive it back home on that same tune-up every single day. Now, another thing that you're going to have to get, providing that you're going to use a factory truck manifold. What's going on, Craig? You know, this is an all-around build, basically. So, providing that, you're also going to need some injectors, and that's where I come to eBay for injectors. Personally, me, I want the best injector that I can get, so I'll probably go overkill on the injector, but it's kind of just whatever you want. So I'll go overkill on injectors because that's how I like my injectors. I don't like to go basically under what I need. I like to go a little bit over, so it gives me time to upgrade later if need be. Got me a little drink there. And if you can't find any injectors, what you can do is decap your factory truck injectors. Now, I'm pretty sure most of y'all will have a die grinder. What you can do is take a factory truck injector, take the little rubber seal off of it so you don't mess that up, and you basically want to grind it down. And if you look at the factory truck injector right now, the way it's designed is that it has like 4 little holes in it. That helps slow down the flow rate on it. That's why it flows so low. If you take the cap off of it, which is called decap and injector, hint, the injector flows like way more. So where you'd be like 30 pounds worth of injector, your injector can go up to like 70 or 80 pounds, which is more than enough to support 600 horsepower, 500 horsepower, 550, depending on, you know, your fuel pump and how your whole fuel system is set up on the car. It should support more than just that. So it's kind of just whatever you you really want to build. So as far as MPG, it's not gonna be anything crazy. If I had to guess, I'd probably say around city it'd probably get 12, 13 maybe. On the highway it'd probably see maybe 17, 18 maybe, if that. Which, it ain't too bad for a 600 horsepower motor, but at the same time, injectors. Like I said, we're gonna come way below the budget. So I mean, if you had a little bit of money to spend, you can come way below your budget, way below. Let's see here, Bosch injectors for a, so what is that? Corvette, 2006, 2013. Let's see. We're gonna keep on looking for injector. 440cc. We're gonna try to find like some 800cc injectors. That's what we're gonna try to find, like some 800cc. It's funny, Craig. It's funny. Nah, to me, what a daily is if you can hop in it and drive it, comfortably. I want something, and this would be like a build for your average guy. So, if you wanted to, say, put this in a Fox body Mustang, or say put this in your G body, like your Malibu, your Monte Carlo, or your box Chevy, or whatever you have, that's what I'm doing this build for. Whoever had a setup like that in mind, but they weren't too sure how to tackle it, I'm telling you, turbo is the way to go. You can daily drive it anytime you get ready, or if you're just looking for a regular old show car, as long as you have some sort of budget in mind, you can do it. And I'll even throw in a stall converter or torque converter, whatever you want to call it. Or if you're that guy, you can go ahead and use the sloppy trans brake, which is basically interrupting 3 and 4 shift solenoid, locking the transmission up. So I mean, you could use that even. So, but we're gonna look for a set of SEMA Deca injectors, Siemens Deca injectors, which are these guys right here. I forgot what prongs they use, but these are some really good injectors for the price. 850cc injector, which I believe is like almost 80 something pounds or something. Let's see here, 80-pound injectors. Okay, so this is more than what you ever need. And you're gonna have to go with a map sensor out of a Corvette ZR1. So don't forget that. Don't forget your map sensor. You can go to 4-bar or whatever. I'm just gonna go try to find a 3-bar map for this build. 3-bar. We want a 3-bar out of like a out of a Corvette, if at all possible. Let's see here. Let's see here. Silverado. We don't want a Silverado map sensor. And like I said, a stock map sensor would work just fine. It's all just depending on what you want. That's interesting, Craig. A V6 only getting 21 miles to the gallon. Interesting. I would expect it to get way more than that, just 21. Again, my dad's V8 gets 22, 23 miles to the gallon. So, and that's not even, you know, I mean, driving it regular. I mean, that's beating on it. It's 80, 85 mile an hour all the time on it. I think this is the one that I need. Let's see here. Let's see. I think this is the one that I'll use. So we're just gonna go to brand new 3-bar. Yeah, that's the one we're gonna go with, 3-bar. And mostly all of them from the factory, like 3-bar, 2-bar. I can't think of one that comes with a 1-bar map, but 2-bar, 3-bar, you know, you really want to stay up there, 3-4-bar map sensor territory. So we're gonna add all the rest of this to the cost here. Let's see, injectors. Like I said, injectors probably your most. It's probably gonna be a thing that costs almost the most, if not the most. Add that, and then $34 add to the price. Again, we're only at $32.59, so $32.60 we're at, and we have not even came close to the budget yet. Like I said, you literally just built a lot of horsepower for very cheap. Now if we're include an intercooler and all that stuff, so Jegs, yeah, you can get an intercooler on Jegs, but again, intercoolers on Jegs cost 4 times as much versus you just going on eBay, getting some cheap old intercooler, which they all do the same exact thing, they cool air, and getting your piping different, or not different, but by itself, which you can get piping for like $70. You'll have a whole intercooler set up for like $140. Like I said, budget conscious, depending on what you're trying to do. Dirty cheap speed, that's what we're going for. Something that you can still drive whenever, wherever. It doesn't have too big of a cam in it, you know. It doesn't have all that stuff like a NA car would have, or like a supercharged car would have, or anything like that. $95. Let's see, you can get these rubberized hoses for $76.52, which I'm sure most of you guys will not want to get. So, 95. And I know most of y'all are gonna want to run your factory truck manifolds and all that other stuff. You can run your factory truck manifolds, it does not matter. I'm just putting together a setup that's bolt-in application, something that I know that'll fit inside of a G body or B body or whatever you're putting it in, something that I know in my head is gonna work. I don't want to put something together that I have second guesses about or anything like that. I want to put something together that I know that you can put in your car and go. So yeah, that's $95. we're at 3425. So like I said, we have not even touched the budget. Like I said, the budget was 6 grand and we're nowhere near it. And providing that you already do have a car, so I'm assuming that you probably do have a G body or B body or whatever you're working with. I know a lot of guys are gonna use their Fox body Mustangs or their Camaros or whatever, their body Camaros, 3rd gen, 4th gen, whatever. I know a lot of y'all are gonna want to use that, and I'm thinking about you. So I'm gonna go right on over here. I'm literally gonna type in a converter that I would go to. Let's see, PTC. I'll go PTC. BTC, literally the budget converter that I would go with. Let's see here. You know what? Yeah, the budget includes the engine, so I'll add that in there real quick. Then I'll go ahead and give that to you. Let me just try to get this converter on in here. 80E can be had for $200-300 bucks, depending on where you live. 80Es can be had for cheap nowadays. A lot of people overlook them, but 80Es can be had for dirt cheap. So, and you know, if you're not afraid to try things or try to tackle some stuff, I'd highly recommend an HD2 kit on your 80E. Really simple to install. They literally can walk you through direction by direction on how to install HD2 kit. Or you know, you really don't know how to do it, I recommend contacting, or not even contacting, but going to go look on Socket Mechanics website, and he kind of gives a nice visual on how to do that type of stuff if you don't already know how to do it. So that's what I pretty much recommend. Converters, so we're gonna go with you know what, let's see what they have as far as street strip / HD. And HD is like heavy duty, like, you know, you have your diesels and all that type of stuff. So those are those units. Power glides, 80E 2000 on 4-speed. I think that's what we want, 4-speed. 2000 stall series. That's not really what we want. We don't really want anything that low. So we're gonna go to performance. Performance is the next step up from street strip. You know, you can still drive it on the street, but it's just pretty much the next step up. And something I would look for in a converter is something like a 3500 stall, 3200 stall, something like that. And something else you need to look into is your budget. You don't want to blow your budget, so that's why I also say that. We're going to copy that, and we're actually going to paste it wherever we can. Let's see, where can we paste it at, actually? Where can we look up the part number at? Should be somewhere to look up products or product cost. Wow, really? Oh, there it is. Paste, search. Performance converters. Okay, so it's not really giving us anything on the performance converter. So yes, stall speed does need to match cam, and something else you also need to bring into your mind is that when you're building that also needs to match that turbo setup. So what you have in a 76mm turbo, that's a lot of turbo you have to spin to get up off the line. Or, you know, if you're not always trying to get into boost, yes, you can go with a smaller converter, but it's going to be an absolute dog off of the line. So I try to give it just enough to kind of slip itself and all that stuff. Whatever else is going to do, I try to give it enough to do that. And, you know, a daily driver, you know, you probably might have a cruise control in it, or you may not. But I want that turbo to where whenever it kicks in, you're going up a hill or whatever you're doing. Let's say you're driving across the country and you have cruise control locked in. I want it to have enough to where the turbo can build itself in, downshift itself, and then take on off. That's what I built everything to go with. So 3500 stall would be just fine. 3500, 3000 you can, but 3500 probably the best. Gear ratio for turbo, I would not go over probably a 373, depending on what you're trying to do with it. 373 is probably the max. 342s would probably be more ideal though, so that's what I'd probably go with. That's what I'd more than likely go with. Like 342s, that's a really nice cruising gear, so they keep at a lower RPM, so you can cruise a little bit better. You can cruise at 80 miles an hour with an 80E behind it, and that type of stall, you'd probably be at 1800, 1700 RPM, somewhere up in between there. So, like I said, that still gives you your quickness, all your top end. And I can tell you right off the top, these converters like $800, $700. I'm gonna try to find the next best company that I can think of right now. And it's not those guys, it's someone else that I'm trying to think of. Not Monster. I don't think it's Monster. Let's see, is it? Let's see here. 1600 stall. I don't think it's Monster. I think their stalls are like somewhat crap, in my opinion. They're like basically overpriced pieces of crap. Like, look at that, $1,000 for a diesel converter. Come on now. RevMax. I think these might be the people. I can't really think of the ones that I was putting together. Let's see. Oh, what's going on here? Whoa there. What in the world? Never had that one before. Yep, never had that one before. Interesting. Okay. We'll get those, sorry guys. Okay. Performance. I think we just got off of their website. Jake's Performance. Jake, he builds some really good transmissions. Really good transmissions. Really good. Alright, so we're just gonna try to find them and try to add it on here. I don't think I can find it though. Best bet might be to go to Google, search up the converter that I want. Torque converters, what do we want? Or stall converter, my bad. Circle D, that's what I wanted. I was thinking about this guy, Circle D, I could not get them in my head for some reason. Circle D, that's who I was looking for. Really big name in racing, and as far as being reliable, really big name in converters and stuff. So for 258, what's the difference between that and that? 30. Okay, so these are variable stalls. So we're gonna 32, 34. We're gonna go single disc. We're gonna go stock pattern because again, we are using the factory flywheel and all that stuff, so we don't need to buy anything extra. Sprag, we're not gonna do any upgraded sprag on this thing. We're just gonna leave it like it is, let her run just like she is. So we got 32 to 3400 stall. In my personal opinion, this is probably one of the best bang for bucks. So 881. There are cheaper ones out there, but this is the only real one that I've like actually tested and had luck with. So only one I'd really stand behind. So yeah. So as far as everything goes now, you're at 4305 as far as pricing goes. So again, if you did have $5,000, $6,000 in your mind as far as the budget goes, no doubt in my mind you could probably meet that budget, and especially if you're trying to go with a G body. So to help some of the G body guys out, let's see here. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna give you guys a little quick tip here. If you're a G body guy, and pretty much anybody can do this, you know, Fox body Mustangs come from the factory with this rear end. There's a couple other cars that come factory with the rear, but Fox bodies, G bodies, any of those cars are probably a nice platform to build off of. You know, you can still drive them around town, have fun with them. You know, take them to the cruise night or whatever. Still have a lot of good fun with it. So this is probably what I'm gonna recommend if you're building a G body, or even, like I said, a B body. Some people like to call them Caprices or whatever. I personally consider a box Chevy a G body platform because it's based off of the G body platform in a way. The rear end suspension is pretty much the exact same as the G body, so that's probably why I say that a lot. So south side. And hint hint, these are the guys that are kind of helping out the channel a lot. These are kind of, I guess you'd say, sponsors of the channel in a way. So I'm gonna try to work with these guys, try to get you guys some access codes for cheaper deals and stuff. For my G body guys though, this is what you really want. This is where it's at. You can get a Ford Explorer swap kit for $599. They typically cost $829. If you want to wait on the blowout sale or whatever they want to call it, you can go ahead and wait on that, but I'd go ahead and hop on this deal, honestly. So you can round it out to $600 because that's basically what it's going to be, $600. Oh god, no, I don't know. Why did you just do that? I'm not really sure what's going on here. 600. Okay, and where were we at before? If we take 600 away, so I can't even remember where we were at. But either way, we're still below the budget. And then Ford Explorer rear ends can be had for $250 bucks. They already come with 31 spline axles, disc brakes. They come with a couple of other goodies from the factory, and that's pretty much the whole entire setup that you're looking for under $6 grand. So $5,500, and you can have a 600 horsepower car that, you know, pretty much hauls the mail all the time. At all times it hauls the mail. So if that's what you're looking for, there you go. I hope I gave y'all some nice and flavorful information. I'll go back through everything that's pretty much part of it. LS9 head gaskets, head bolts from ARP, sloppy stage 2 cam, dual valve springs. You know, you're gonna need valve springs regardless. Chromoly push rods, crossover tube kit from Hooker, the Hooker turbo manifolds. Let's see, I don't know why I just did that. JG's wastegate. You know, a manual boost controller, the turbo oil drain return, and then a flared cap 10AN to block off one side, so you just return from the single turbo setup. And then as far as all this goes, you know, you have the intercooler piping, 76mm turbo intercooler piping, which is 3-inch. Then you have an intercooler, which that's the one I would go with. 3-bar map, 80-pound injectors from SEMA Deca, turbo oil return and drain. You know, it's kind of just a little deal. And then from Dirty Dingo, you actually have the full oil feed kit that is made for the LS engine. 3-inch V-band that's gonna hook onto Where are they at? Where are they at? Let's see here. If I can go up and click on them. Let's go on here. So, where this will actually hook up at is on this right here is where it actually hook up at. So that'll hook onto there. You'll turn your elbow wherever you need to turn it at, angle your turbo wherever. And then of course we have the GT45R series turbo. This is a 76mm turbo, 1.15 AR, my bad. This is really nice, efficient turbo. Gives you a lot of room to upgrade later on. More power, as always, can be added to this. And if you really wanted to, you can go to S475 turbo. It's a little bit overkill in my opinion, but whatever floats your boat. Like I said, this is a nice turbo, but a little bit of overkill for whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to accomplish a budget setup like this, like I said, these things can do well over 1,000 horsepower. But you know, yeah. So decent little turbo, 75mm. And then of course you have this one, which is the one that I would go with. Like I said, these things have been known to make well over 1,000 horsepower on the regular. And you know, just living at 500-600 horsepower, you'll be fine. Like I said, make sure you got those rings, put some LS9 head gaskets on there, head bolts. Something else I did not add to this was a trunnion upgrade. I recommend that, but like I said, if you do not have that in the budget, you don't necessarily have to get it. Assuming that this is your turbo build, you probably won't be doing over 6,200 RPM. If it's just a normal little setup, like I said, that's more than enough power to take you deep into the 10s, possibly even 9s. So that's my little setup that I recommend. It's up to you if you want to take the setup and run with it. So I just want to give y'all, you know, a nice little setup, something that y'all can possibly work with. We'll be doing these probably once a week. Well, I'll try to do these once a week, but it's been real, y'all. I'll catch y'all back later on, probably in the morning, who knows. I'll probably catch some of y'all while y'all are getting up. I'll probably do, you know, a little bit of driving, talking with y'all, and it's been real. So I'll hit y'all back